Hello, dear ones. Those of you watching this in America will almost certainly know that yesterday was Election Day, November 3rd, 2020, and today being November 4th. Typically, we've known most of the results of an election by the day after, maybe not all, but if you look back through the years, it's fairly common that results get tallied up soon, sometimes in the late hours of the night, but often within a day or two. And we're in that sort of uncomfortable day or two or three in this election year, waiting for some of the results to come back. And I wanted to lead a visualization because it's uncomfortable to be in a place where we don't know the outcome. There is uncertainty. Human beings don't like uncertainty. It seems to be a little feature of human nature. Whether justifiable or not justifiable is a different question. But because there is change and there is uncertainty, and that's just a condition of life. But all of that having been said, there is a place that we can go inside, in our center. And I do not mean this to imply that everyone should live in the political center of our country. But I do mean that we should live in our own personal center, that we should find our own spine, that we should find our own center of awareness, center of deep presence. If you're of the mindset to believe in God, then that would be the divine center of our being, the presence of God within each of our souls. And if you're not, then I would say just think of it as the uplifted awareness of your own truth, your own understanding, your own reality. So the visualization is this. And you're welcome to close your eyes during this if you feel to. There won't be any fireworks going on the screen. It'll just be me talking. So you won't miss anything visually, but I won't close my eyes. Visualize, if you can. Visualize may not be the right term. Conceptualize, if you will, that our country, the United States of America, is a collection of consciousness. It's the collected consciousness of everyone who is a citizen of this country, and others who are living here, who are resident to this country as well. So it could include Americans living in faraway places, certainly, Americans living overseas as well, who still relate to themselves as U.S. citizens. But that collective consciousness represents a wide variety, diversity of perspective, of opinion, of political inclination, leaning in one direction or another. And it's easy to vilify those directions or inclinations that we may not personally agree with or subscribe to. And what I'd like us to do in this visualization is just see the entire spectrum, see the whole of this consciousness, and recognize it as a whole, which is to say that there is this gigantic awareness, and what we need is to integrate, not change perspectives, but come to understand each other's perspectives and connect our perspectives. And I would suggest doing this by, especially in these days, yesterday, today, tomorrow, maybe the next day, just simply relax in the understanding that there is a truth living in every person, again, whether we agree with them or we don't agree with them, we, all of us ourselves, represent widely diverging points of view, even inside of ourselves. I look back on my life and I think, I did some pretty crazy things. When I was a teenager, when I was in college, I jumped out of an airplane at 3,000 feet once and obviously lived to tell the tale. But what we need to do is turn that awareness, the awareness within ourselves that may be wildly diverging, connect it all to the divine center. It is said that when we can connect the hemispheres of our brain neurologically more and more and in more nuanced ways, that our emotional and intellectual intelligence goes up. And I would like to suggest that if we can do this as a country, that we can understand that we don't live in this country just for our own benefit. It's a wonderful country as countries go. Having been born here and being a U.S. citizen, I think I can say that with some degree of confidence. It is not the only country in the world, obviously, but we have a job to serve not only ourselves, but the rest of the planet. We can serve with an uplifted consciousness if we choose to, and if we learn to look for that light. Now, obviously, some of the perspectives of the citizens of this country are not interested in that. Of course not. People are at all points along the spectrum of growth. But there's still validity inside of every person. So let us try to turn those citizens, especially inside of ourselves, toward the light. All the diverging points of view, all the things that we've done and been and chosen, some of which we may not think are very uplifted, others of which we may feel particularly proud of. Turn those toward the light, and then visualize our country, our collective consciousness also turning toward the light of wisdom, of compassion, of understanding, of an ability, a willingness to share our support and our love with the rest of this world. And this is not a sectarian message. It's just simply a message of hope that we can come together. Again, politically, I'm not suggesting that liberals suddenly become conservatives or conservatives suddenly become liberal, or that we all somehow just lump together in a big mush. Rather, that we come to understand that there is divinity everywhere. It's just we have to learn to see it and to relate to it. Relate with respect to everyone, whether we agree or we don't agree. And try to uplift the consciousness in this country, even when it seems difficult, perhaps especially when it seems difficult. Try to feel the blessing that we've had, because, in the Bible it says, to those whom much is given, much will be expected. I feel as a country we've been given a great deal. And I feel that not just the world, but the universe itself is sort of saying, Christ is expressing a universal law that if you are going to have much given to you, then you have to share. You have to offer that blessing, that abundance to others in service to them. Not necessarily in just, giving it all away, but just to be of service. And it's not to say that we haven't, it's to say that we can always grow our attunement in that service, bring it to a higher and more refined level. So I suggest this in these days because, it is a bit tumultuous having things sort of hanging in the balance, so to speak, but feel that divine center in yourself and try to project it, try to offer it lovingly, compassionately to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world. Whether they can receive it or not, that's not the issue. Just offer in a sincere way, and there will be blessings. We will come to a higher level of understanding and resolve. God bless you.